A medical breach in Missouri leaves dozens of patients exposed. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. It created not only a privacy concern, but a biohazard. Dozens of blood samples were found scattered in a parking lot, each vial labeled with sensitive information. But how did they get dumped in a public space?
Investigative reporter Susan L. Corey uncovered the answer that's already led to changes to help protect other patients.
Steps from one of St. Louis County's busiest streets, Lindbergh Boulevard.
It's deplorable.
Blood samples sit in a parking lot.
That is a serious health risk.
Some broken, others intact, all containing private medical information.
I stopped and went, no, this just isn't right.
Mark Chamberlain spotting the vials while walking home.
Came up through here.
He cut through this area by the loading docks behind the Cross Keys Shopping Center in Florissant.
This is where I saw broken ones, a few scattered here.
Are you thinking, how did those get here?
Yes. Step on those and get cut. Could be AIDS, hepatitis, who knows what.
We saw dozens of blood samples spread through the parking lot with patients' names, birthdays, and medical ID numbers. Several rolled into storm drains with warnings that what falls into here goes to the river.
Saw all of these vials of blood.
That's when we called the city to get answers.
I've counted like 41 different vials.
First, Florissant police came,
There's one right there.
collecting the vials as evidence.
What do you do about the ones that are in the storm drains?
They had to call in the fire department to pry open not one, but two storm drains and pick up the vials in there.
We're going to try to find out who's the responsible party.
Turns out the vials came from right around the corner at this DaVita dialysis in the same shopping center.
I was just shocked.
Cheryl Malden is one of the patients whose blood sample was in the parking lot.
How could this have happened? I mean, you're breaking my HIPAA law.
The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, known as HIPAA, protects patients' sensitive medical information, making it confidential. It can't be disclosed without a patient's consent or knowledge. If there is a breach, HIPAA gives a facility 60 days to notify patients.
They need to do it better.
Malden needs a kidney transplant, so she's been going to the center 3 times a week for the past 3 years. She says they do routine blood tests, but no one told her about the missing vials.
What is the procedure? Why you guys didn't inform the patients that this had happened? You should have sent a letter out or something.
Maurice Holtzclaw is another patient who we talked to days after the discovery.
Has anyone from DaVita told you that your blood was found out on the street?
No, nobody told me anything. Like I said before, I'm just hearing it from you.
He was so upset, he called the clinic.
I just wanted to find out what was going on.
An employee told him the blood samples were stolen during their typical shipping process, which involves leaving a box with blood samples outside the clinic for a delivery driver to pick up. DaVita believes someone stole the box while it was sitting outside and trashed it when they realized what was inside.
Do you think maybe you should upgrade the way they transfer these samples?
It's clear crime is an issue here and DaVita knows it. Employees put up these signs asking people to stop breaking into their cars. We keep asking the clinic why they thought it was a good idea to leave out a box with patients' blood and medical information in the middle of a shopping center. No one here will talk to us. DaVita is an international company operating in 11 countries. In the U.S., they run more than 2,500 dialysis clinics, including dozens in the metro area. The Florissant Center told us to call their spokesman. We were calling in regards to some blood vials.
In a statement, he explained they're still reviewing what happened and we are deeply concerned about this criminal activity. Our team is entrusted with protecting the confidentiality of the health information of our patients, and we take that obligation very seriously. We've taken steps to reduce the risk of future foul play by changing the way we secure shipments awaiting pickup.
It's very frightening that somebody would run off with a box like that with laboratory tubes.
Investigator for the Missouri Department of Health, Jason Hollinsworth, is taking on this case.
We're going to see if they became aware and what they did to investigate and what they did to prevent reoccurrences and everything.
Is this a typical shipping process?
It is a typical shipping process, but the problem that occurred is not typical.
Missouri has no statewide requirement for shipping blood samples. Each facility sets their own policy, which is then reviewed by the State Department of Health. But this case raises questions if that should change.
It needs to be a safe process, and we are definitely going to be evaluating that.
DeVita says it is changing pickups, and our cameras saw a delivery driver getting a package inside the clinic.
It's a shame.
Patients like Cheryl Malden believe this discovery was preventable.
I'm glad that you were able to contact me and let me know what has happened and transpired, because this is terrible.
Upset, nothing can undo the violation to her privacy.
DeVita said 24 patients were affected, but hasn't said how many vials were stolen or whether they have all been accounted for. 2 separate investigations were launched in this case. The Missouri Department of Health found the facility did not violate any policies, but said they will consider changes to how medical samples are shipped in the state. The police are looking for whoever stole and then dumped the blood samples.